Hi, welcome to this JMeter video tutorial, how to spider a website with JMeter. My name is Jason Silberman. I work at a company called JMeter, which provides a SaaS platform for running load and performance tests and is 100% compatible with JMeter. I'll talk just a little bit about JMeter at the end of this tutorial, but for now, let's focus on the topic at hand. So when it comes to building web application load test, you might want to simulate a group of users crawling the website and randomly clicking the links. As a general rule, I personally don't like this form of testing, as I believe that the load test needs to be repeatable so that each consecutive test hits the same endpoints and assumes the same throughput as the previous one. If the entry criteria is different, it's harder to analyze the load test results. That said, sometimes this is not really applicable, especially for dynamic websites. Think about like blogs or news portals, social media networks, etc., where new content is being added very often or even in real time. This form of testing ensures that the user will get a smooth browsing experience and also checks for broken links or any unexpected errors. So that's where this process, which is called spidering, that's where it comes into play. So in today's tutorial, I'm going to cover the 3 most common approaches of simulating website crawling using JMeter. The first is clicking all the links found in the web page. Excuse me. The second is using the HTML Link Parser. And the third is creating more kind of, from a scripting perspective, an advanced spidering test plan. So we'll begin with the first approach, clicking all links on a web page using the regular expression extractor in JMeter. First, I'd like to just quickly explain the regular expression extractor for those who are unfamiliar with it. Regular expressions provide a simple method to get information from pages when it is impossible or very hard to predict an outcome. To use regular expressions in your test plan, you need to use the regular expression extractor. So if we need to simulate user activity on websites, for example, then to do this, we need to get links which are specifically related to the site being tested. You need to simply exclude all the links that lead to other resources. And the easiest way to do this is to use regular expressions to extract all links from the page. Then you want to build the test plan as usual. For example, in this case, we'll just use the JMeter homepage, which is www.jmeter.com. And then under the thread group, add the HTTP request to get to the main web page, and then call the context menu from this element to add the regular expression extractor as shown in this next slide right here. Okay. Now we can configure the extractor and set the rule that would extract all the necessary links. Under the parameters, we need to specify where JMeter should search the data, the name of the array with the found data, the template to extract, the number of matches, and the default value. I'm going to show you this on the screen in a second, but our regular expression here will be what you can see on the bottom of the screen right there. And here is how this looks in the regular expression extractor in JMeter. Just to note, to extract all the parameters, you can set the parameter match number. You can see that, the match number, the second from the bottom. Set that parameter to -1. If you leave it blank, only the first match will be returned. So that's why we have it as -1 there. Okay. Now we have to use the for each controller to iterate the extracted links. Now we have a variable named URLs, which you can see there, the input variable prefix. and can use the for each controller to loop through them. Add it to the test plan for each controller and set its settings as seen in the image here. Under the controller setting, we need to set the input variable prefix and output variable name, which will be available on each iteration. All the found links will be named as URLs_X, where X is the index number of the index number found by the regular expression piece of data. That's why we may set an input prefix as the URL parameter. Finally, after you've done that, use the HTTP request sampler to hit the URL living in the output variable name. The variable in this case, you can see in the path there, $, then in parentheses and brackets URL, will contain one of the found links on each iteration. To open every page by found address, just add the HTTP sampler inside the for each controller. So let's look at the results in our example. You can see in the view results tree, these are the links that were hit. Okay, so now with that said, let's just look to sum up, clicking on all links on the page using the regular expression extractor for each controller and the HTTP sampler. Here are some of the positives and the negatives. The positives include that it's really simple to configure, it's relatively stable, it's failover and resilience. The negatives in this case for this method are that regular expressions are a bit hard to develop and sensitive to markup changes, and they really aren't actually a crawler or spider in the traditional sense, just consequential requests to links. So let's look at the next method, and that is using the HTML Link Parser. Here's the second way to spider a web page. JMeter provides a special test element, the HTML Link Parser. Now, I took a screenshot directly from the JMeter documentation, which you can see here how they describe it. The element is designed for extracting HTML links and forms and to substitute the matching HTTP request sampler relevant fields with the extracted values. Therefore, the HTML link parser can be used to simulate crawling the website with minimal configuration. Now, here's how we can do it. You need to put the HTML link parser under a logic controller, such as, just so you know, you can use, there are a few different versions of this, but you can use what's called a simple controller if you just need a container, or the while controller in JMeter to set a custom condition like the maximum number of hits. And then you need to put the HTTP request sampler under the logic controller and configure the server name or IP and path fields to limit the extracted values to an interesting scope. You probably want to focus on domains belonging to the application under test, and you don't want it to crawl over the internet, because if your application has any link that leads to an external resource, JMeter will then go outside. Perl 5 style regular expressions can be used to set the extracted links scope. And here you can see the results in the view results tree of the links hit using this method. So again, let's look at the pros and cons of this approach using the HTML link parser. The pros are it's easy to configure and use. As opposed to the first approach, this does actually act like a spider. Which we said is more just, the first approach we said was more just a consequential request to links. This actually does crawl over the full website. The negatives, if I had to say, there's next to nothing error tolerance. Any failure to extract links from the response will cause cascade failures of subsequent requests. So let's look at the third and final method, creating advanced scripting for spidering. So taking into account the limitations of the previous approaches, you might want to come up with a solution that won't break on errors and will be crawling the whole application under test. So below, you can see here the a reference test plan outline, which can be used you can use it as a skeleton for your spider on your application. So what you want to do here is open up the main page, extract all the links from it, click on a random link, and then I'll say, and then extract all links from the response. If the return value has a good MIME type, in other words, if the link results in an image or a PDF document or whatever, link extraction will be skipped, then you want to extract all the links from the response. Now, you can see here what it looks like in JMeter. But I want to just kind of describe, and I wrote it on the screen, what the different elements you can see in the screenshot. So the while controller is used to set the maximum amount of requests so that the test won't last forever. If you limit via scheduling, you can skip it. The once only controller is used to execute a call to the main page only once. The XPath extractor. Now, I just want to say a few things on this. You use it to filter out URLs that don't belong to the application under test and any other links that are not interesting, like an email, like where it says like mail to a certain email or call to like a phone number, etc. These we're not interested in. And then an example XPath query will look like what you can see on the screen. Okay, that starts with all these symbols. You can read it out to yourselves. Okay. Continuing with our elements, the JavaScript function actually does three things. It chooses a random link out of those extracted by the path extractor. It removes the prefix from the beginning of URLs. And it also sets the HTTP request title to the current random URL. The regular expression extractor is used, as we explained, to extract a content type header from the response. And then the if controller is the next round of extracting links from the response will start only if the response has the matching content type. And again, you can see the results here in the view results tree, and you can see the links hit using the third and final message, this advanced spidering example. So let's look at the pros and cons of the final approach, advanced spidering testing plan. The pro is, it's the most flexible and really can do anything, and configurability. It's not as simple though. It is very complex compared to some of the other methods. If you want to try, after this video tutorial, if you want to try any of the scripts that I mentioned, you can actually find it at the JMeter Spider repository, which you can see in this URL there. Okay, bitbucket.org/blazemeter/JMeterSpider/SRC. Okay, now I will give you a few next steps, some URLs in a second. But before I do that, I said that I wanted just to, for 1 minute, talk about BlazeMeter. I mentioned that I work at BlazeMeter, so let me just do that very quickly. So as I mentioned, JMeter is 100% compatible with BlazeMeter, or vice versa, actually. BlazeMeter is 100% compatible with JMeter. You can upload any JMeter script, including those from external JMeter plugins, into BlazeMeter and run your test in the cloud. Now, it brings you a lot of benefits in addition to just using JMeter as an open source tool. So firstly, you can scale to up to 1 million or above concurrent users. So you can run massive load tests in more than 20 geolocations around the world. You can also run many tests in parallel to speed test cycles. It's excuse me, it's using our multi-test feature. We also go way beyond the standard out-of-the-box JMeter reports, which are displayed only at the end of the test, and it exists only locally. BlazeMeter, you can view really kind of comprehensive and easy to look at and graphs and statistics and analytics. And then actually you can also share those reports with your colleagues and view any KPI trends or results of other tests in the system as well. We also look at performance testing from a DevOps approach, especially in the CI/CD world. So we have plugins with lead-in CI tools such as Jenkins and TeamCity and Travis. And there's an external plugin for Bamboo as well. Also, we have integrations with leading APM tools such as CA APM, New Relic, App Dynamics, Dynatrace, and more. Sorry. And finally, you can also use our Chrome recorder, which is very easily record web browsers and native mobile apps. And then obviously get a very easy script from there and then run the test from BlazeMeter. So that's basically it, just explaining BlazeMeter very briefly. Just want to get back to here. Okay, good. So for more information, other things we spoke about in today's tutorial, firstly, to any JMeter documentation and to install JMeter, if you haven't already, you can go to jmeter.apache.org. For further questions about JMeter, they have a great open source forum. People respond to any question you can think of pretty quickly, from my experience, at the link provided here. I also urge you to check out the BlazeMeter blog, which has a lot of information about performance testing, including with JMeter, but again, because we're interested in more kind of in the big picture DevOps, so about Selenium as well, and Jenkins and CI/CD and a whole lot more. That's at blazemeter.com/blog. You can also see our resources page, which has other video tutorials on JMeter and Jenkins and more, and also all of our webinar recordings and white papers. That's at blazemeter.com/resources. And finally, for more information and to sign up for BlazeMeter, you can create a free account today. We do have a free plan so you can play with the tool. That is at www.blazemeter.com. Thank you very much, everyone, for viewing this tutorial. Have a great day.